Hi, this is Rahman Sheikh. Welcome to Fortnightly Railway Transportation Systems podcast. I am the host and railway systems specialist. This podcast is primarily focused on railway experts who have vast amount of experience and contributed greatly to this amazing industry. This is not a technical seminar but focuses on feel good stories, individual journeys, their success and failures, motivating younger generation to kickstart their career in railways and creating a sense of pride for the railway people who devoted their lives on the most environment friendly public transportation. Today on Railway Transportation Systems, we have Jan Kolar, or known as Jan Kolar, but on this pod we will pronounce you as Jan, the CEO of Passengera, a company transforming passenger mobility by providing seamless connectivity and infotainment solutions for public transportation. Jan's journey started with transportation project for Czech Railways Pendolino trains, inspiring him to run Passengera. With a commitment to smarter mobility, Passengera enhances onboard services with internet connectivity, real-time vehicle monitoring, and tailored infotainment. Jan brings a wealth of experience from his previous roles at CIMAC Technic CR and Cisco, and he is here to share his insights on the future of connected, accessible, and sustainable transportation. Hi, Jan. Welcome to the pod.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to share our experience from the transportation market.
So let's kick off with the first question, Jan. Could you share the story behind Passengera? What inspired you to start this company? And also tell us about your work on connectivity and infotainment projects at Czech Railways Pendolino trains and how it influenced Passengera.
Yeah, well, all started in 2012 with the project for the Czech Railways for the Pendolino trains. It was quite unique in the first project in this Central Europe for providing onboard Wi-Fi and internet connectivity for the passengers on board. And because there was very limited experience on this market so far, and the project was a public tender with the high and strong SLA commitments, we were quite worried about how the solution will work if we deploy it on board the train to guarantee the passengers with the required internet access speeds on board, which back then was, I guess, something around 2 megabits per second, which now everyone considers standard. But we were thinking about what else we can do to increase the passenger experience on board on these trains in the areas where the internet connectivity and the mobile signal coverage of the mobile operators might not be good enough. And then the idea about providing some information and the content which is taught on board the train came up. So what we have done, that we have developed our first version of the onboard infotainment platform that provides the information to the passengers over onboard Wi-Fi from their own devices, called like BIOD concept, bring your own device. And this platform has provided the informations about the route info and the real-time information, but also the entertainment content. So the passengers can get entertained during the journey without need to use the internet data. And back then, the project was done under the CIMAC, our mother company, and currently our bigger shareholder, where I was leading the technical department. And the project was quite successful. And then we were asked to present it as a case study on some European conferences. And after that, we started receiving more demands from abroad. And then the decision to establish a new company was taken. So the founders of Passengera are Roman Smola, the innovator person from the industry, and Martin Jireček, who represents the CIMAC Technique. And I was asked to take a challenge to build a new company focused on the digital services for passengers. So our story then continues by development of the hardware agnostic infotainment platforms, working with the several hardware partners who provide us with the connectivity solution for the train to ground. Our second and third project was in Switzerland and Azerbaijan. So we quickly became an international company providing the project also outside of the Europe. And in around 2015, we learned that the customers prefers to have one supplier for the hardware and the software solution as well. So we had to change our strategy, which initially was that we wanted to be the software company only, as we thought. And we still think that the hardware will become the commodity, which fortunately is becoming true in these days. But we still wanted to be the software company with the focus on the solutions that we develop. So we partner up with selected partners who manufacture for us the customized hardware based on our requirements. And with this approach, we have outsourced the hardware manufacturing and the assemblies, which allow us to keep the focus on the software that we are developing. So in 2015, the Passengera brand was created. And since then, we are the complete solution provider for connectivity and infotainment platforms for passengers. Currently, we have customers on 5 continents. Who are served by our team from Prague in Czech Republic, where we have the offices and the headquarters. And we support our customers with our global partner networks who provide the local touch and local support to our customers. And regarding your question for what inspired me to start the company, well, I was always passionate about the railways. When I was a kid, I used to play with the train models and so on with my father. And I also studied for the telecommunication and the data network security with my experience with the university and in the Cisco later on. So the coming digitalization era in the public transportation caught my attention and inspired me by the challenge that I would like to participate on it.
Beautiful. It looks such a great company to work for, and the technology looks amazing. When you say the people don't need to have internet on their phone, so your company hires any internet supplier?
Actually, no. We do provide the solution that is as a platform for our customers who can use their preferred internet service provider, right? So they contract the local mobile operators or the internet connectivity solution providers, and we just supply them with the equipment and the software that provide the service. But the mobile data transfers are provided through mobile data operators to provide the train to ground connectivity service.
Beautiful. Will that add additional load to the mobile data provider?
Well, you can imagine the train like to be, let's consider the type of Pendolino train, 300 people on board, but very concentrated on some area, right? So, of course, the mobile data networks are not always designed to support this high density of the mobile phones. In very close and rural area where all of them are connecting to the local BTS stations and create very short time high demand traffic to the mobile data network. So yes, this is one of the challenges that we experience while working to provide the train to ground connectivity solution over mobile data networks.
Beautifully explained, Jan. Let's go to the next question. As you said, Passengera's mission is to create a smarter mobility. Could you elaborate on what this vision entails?
Yeah, well, mobility has a wide meaning in the public transport, right?
Yeah.
As we can see it around. But as we work in the public transport sector and we are providing the solutions for the digitalization of the existing services that the operators are currently running, and also to bring the new services as well, by the term of the smart mobility, we mean to allow the passengers to be more productive, communicative, informed and entertained during their move in the public transport like they expect to be at home or at work, and to make their traveling experience more enjoyable. So to do so, we apply some innovative technologies, including the AI in our solutions to help the public transport more attractive again.
I think I'll go back to my question. I think you would entertain people definitely. What a great idea. As I said, I would go back to my previous question. What are the key challenges in delivering reliable internet and infotainment solutions on public transportation? I just twisted the question.
Yes, this really depends on the territory, time, and customer, I have to say, when we speak about the challenges. For example, in 2012, our challenge was how to deliver 2 megabits per second guaranteed internet connectivity on the SLA, what our customers wanted. Right. Then if I jump to 2019, for example, our challenge was to deliver as fast internet connectivity on board what our customers wanted. And for example, after pandemic and with the 5G networks being deployed, our customers, they came back to us and said that they want to have a control of the mobile data costs because they started to look for optimization solution to provide onboard Wi-Fi or internet access service, because as the mobile data networks became faster and faster, the people consume more and more data, and it creates the additional and higher cost transport operator to provide such a service. So they start to look for a cost optimization solution while still be able to provide high quality passenger service. So as you can see, our challenges are changing over the time by the development of the technologies, but also the end customers' requirements are driving our challenges, because what we have learned that even we provide our standard products, the standard solutions, every customer might have a slightly different requirements, but that we try to, let's say, accommodate somehow. For example, one of the real challenges is to deliver the reliable mobile internet connectivity service over unreliable mobile data networks. Because without the closer cooperation with the mobile network operators, you cannot control the prioritization of your traffic in the mobile network, right? Because our solution, it's called router, with the SIM cards, is behaving as a client, like your mobile phone. So you cannot push to be more prioritized in the mobile networks. For example, we have customers who operates in the mountains, like Glacier Express, Berina Express, Golden Pass Express, or Central Express trains in the Swiss mountains, or Inca Rail in Peru, or Kiwi Rail in New Zealand, where the mobile networks coverage is not always good enough in these mountains, because back then when the mobile networks were designed, no one was expecting to have big traffic in these areas. But so here we experienced the challenge, how we can provide passengers or even the train operator with the internet connectivity on board the train where there is not good coverage at all and we cannot change it. But this will be solved by our integration with the Starlink that we recently announced. And the Starlink service is becoming more and more viable in these rural areas. So this will help to solve this challenge. And
beautiful.
Also, the infotainment platform challenges really matters by the business case, because the different customers might have different cases and the reasons why they want to deploy it. Like with infotainment platforms deployments, it's important to understand the specific of the route, whether it's domestic or long distance, demographics of the passengers, their needs and reasons for them to choose the public transport, and some others.
Great answer, Jan. Anyways, we will deep dive a bit more. We spoke about challenges and you touched about sustainability. Can you especially highlight what Passengera does in terms of reducing hardware replacements?
Yes, so the part of our mission is to make the public transport more attractive for the people to prefer it instead of the cars where possible. Thus, participate in reducing the pollution and decrease the carbonization of our planet, and make the public transport more sustainable, as you noted. And for example, our infotainment systems platforms are hardware agnostic, which allows our customers to upgrade their existing solution with an option to keep the existing hardware components, which are still working or are in a good conditions. One of the nice examples could be the upgrade of the passenger information system, because every train needs to be retrofitted once in several years. 10, 15 years, it depends. And our software platform allows to upgrade the existing passenger information system solution by keeping the existing displays or running our PIS controller on existing hardware, if possible, and integrating with existing public audio systems also where possible. And with this approach, the train operator or the train builder can save the cost by keeping the existing parts of the solution that are still working while being able for us to provide the modern and software services for the vehicle operations.
Great insights, Jan. I love the way you explaining the technology, but I would like to go a deep dive into technical stuff. So we spoke about the technology, but you did not explain how you do it. So can you explain how your technology enables real-time vehicle monitoring and managing it?
Yes, sure. I'm the technical freak, so I'm very passionate for the technologies. And for what is important to understand that we are not working in the segment of the vehicle operations or the driving assistance, right? We provide the solutions for the passengers, and these solutions are, for the security reasoning, separated from this real-time vehicle operations or the driving assistance systems. So everything when we speak about the real-time monitoring and the management is connected to the passenger services and the components which are building this service. But also those solutions and the components needs the real-time monitoring, not only the train operation conditions systems, but also this needs the real-time monitoring in order to provide a high-quality service for the passengers. Because if you do not know how reliable your solution is, then you cannot provide a high reliable service to the passengers, right? So what we use
100%.
is edge computing technology to process the local task on board and to limit the traffic with the wayside or the cloud systems. And this allows us to provide the real-time monitoring and analysis in the real-time on board, while sending to the waysides to use only the critical information that are needed for remote monitoring or the operations. And the detailed data like the logs or some security or synchronized to the wayside applications are synchronized later. So, for example, when the train is in the depot or with our passengers on board and so on.
Beautiful. Now let's talk about clients. So we spoke about connectivity, we spoke about technology and how you do it, and also your infotainment solutions. Now, how do you tailor this based on each client's specific needs?
Yes, good question. Well, with our first version of the infotainment, we learned that it's not manageable in the long term to maintain the different software applications for different customers. So in around 2016, we have developed our second version of the modular software platform that allow us to meet the almost every customer needs. And it also has an easy option to add the new modules or the features in case of the client specific needs. Because one of our advantages is a flexibility in the way how we work with the customers and how we can adapt the customer needs. So we do not push the customers to use the specific products with the limited functionalities only, but we rather listen to their needs and advise them about the best solution to accommodate their needs and their requests. And which includes our products and can be integrated with the third parties.
Wow, looks like Passengera had made an impact with the clients. Can you share an example or a recent project where you think Passengera has made an impact?
Sure. Well, we didn't mention that yet, but Passengera is working not only in the rail sector. We have customers in bus, metro, vessel, and autonomous people mover segments as well. So we work generally in the public
Wow.
transport area. And one of our recent projects that went live is, for example, the Riyadh Metro in the Kingdom of the Saudi Arabia, where we do provide the internet connectivity for all 190 trains and 85 stations, including the seamless connectivity between the trains and the stations, where the hardware components from the different brands, as it was the requirement of the end customer. And the provided solution includes the monetization capabilities for the operator and the comprehensive monitoring and management system that maintains over 1,500 devices. And it's ready to serve the plenty of millions of users daily. And one of our most interesting and exciting projects is our cooperation with the Holland. Is a German-based spin-off company from the Benteler Group, and they are building the fully autonomous people mover, planned to be on the road in the late 2026. For them, we designed the complete information system on board, including passenger information system, audio system, CCTV, and the connectivity with the cloud services. But what makes this project special is, despite of the pioneering areas that no one has gone yet before, is the fact that in this type of the vehicles, there is not a driver, right? So the information system
Yeah.
on board is the only communication interface with you as a passenger, which makes it even more important than in the other means of the transport that we are already using. So we are very excited to work on this project, as we believe that it will help to make the public transport even more sustainable, and it will help to solve the issues with the last mile transport from the transportation hubs in the metropolitan cities.
It does, mate. It does. Listening to you sounds so interesting, and you did made an impact. I can see that from your narrative, as well as great numbers. So let's go to my next question. So, which is a type of follow-up question from a technology standpoint. What innovations do you see as most promising for enhancing passenger experience in public transport?
Definitely, this will be an applying of the AI, the artificial intelligence here, because the AI will help to enhance the passenger experience on several levels. First, it will be personalized. So knowing more about the passengers will help to provide more tailored services. Second, it will be faster. So many tasks and processes will be automated, which can result in the faster information sharing and the decision making. Third, it will be more effective. So AI will adopt not only in the field of passenger services, but also in the vehicle operations and the maintenance. And the last, I think it will be more secure, because AI is already in use in the networking security to perform behavioral traffic analysis, or in the video surveillance systems to detect specific unwanted behavior of the passengers.
Wow, great insights, Jan. I completely concur with your answer, but for our audience and myself to understand, we always need to compare with something, right? So, can you tell us a unique feature of Passengera's connectivity solutions compared to old traditional methods?
Yes, good question again. Yeah, there is a one to at least a one to mention, as we always are passionate to innovate. For example, it's a burst technology, how we call it. It is a bandwidth usage traffic optimization engine, because the traditional tools are limiting the quality of service, like the bandwidth being constantly limited to some speed, like 2 megabits per second. So, for example, if you apply this quality of service, this can lead into negative user experience, as loading of some content on the rich web pages can be considerably slow. So the passengers will experience that. And our burst technology provides the dynamic buffer of several megabytes, which for each connection request can be used without bandwidth limitation. And after usage of this buffer, the standard bandwidth limit is set. And with this approach, it has the two main impacts. First, the user experience is much improved, as the content is being loaded more quickly. And second, the transport operators will make savings on the mobile data costs compared to unlimited usage. So that's what the one, maybe one other unique feature can be the universal and centralized digital asset monitoring, as our monitoring and management suite as a cloud-based tool is designed to monitor not only our hardware and software products and services, but also to third-party components. So our customers benefit from using our MMS platform to monitor all their digital assets on board, no matter how old they are or from which brand they are.
Wow, great features, Jan. However, another $1 million question, how safe it is. So, how do you ensure the cybersecurity and data privacy on onboard systems?
Yes, so the security is very important in the public transport and is becoming more and more important in these days. And what I can comment here is the security is in our mind during the design already. And we are under the process of the 62443 certification of our processes and the product development, which is about to be completed soon. And by this certification, we comply with our statement to the customers to handle the security seriously, not only for the onboard systems, but for the wayside as well. And in regards to the data privacy, we fully respect to the GDPR compliance of handling the privacy data, which is applicable here in Europe, and the similar standards we do apply in the other territories as well.
Well, I think you should get that certification quicker. If once you get that certification, I think that's applied for the future projects. What about the projects you already delivered?
Well, the certification itself is just a clarification that our company is providing the solutions and developing the products according to some standard. So it doesn't mean that before certification, our solution and processes are not secured. So as I mentioned, the security is in our mind already from the design, but the certification itself, just to make it comparative to the other companies in the worldwide sector, that we comply to some certain standard.
Wow, beautiful. So, Jan, in your experience, what role does passenger feedback play in shaping your solutions?
Yes, I think any feedback is valuable for us as well as for the train operator, right? Because the public operators, they provide the services for the passengers. So they want to have as much as possible passengers on board is their business, right? So monitoring the quality of the service is very important. And so any feedback is valuable for us. But we have to respect our customer or the transport operators' strategies and the decisions. So far, what we learned is that the passenger expectations are very subjective and the personal, right? So it is difficult, even impossible, to make them all happy, right? So from 100 passengers on board, you will always find someone, or at least one, who would expect something a little bit differently. This is the real world, right? So what we provide the solution that should help the passengers and the transport operators as well. And so the passenger feedbacks are very important for us and even for our customers and the transport operators to continuously monitor and improve the onboard services for passengers.
Beautiful. Now it's time for your feedback. So, what advice would you give to transportation providers aiming to adopt digital solutions for enhancing connectivity and passenger experience?
Yeah, so what I can share is from our experience that I have for working more than 10 years in the sector. So first of all, I think it's very important to know your passengers and their expectations first. So before deployment, any new service. So we advise to use surveys or any other methods to get the passengers' feedback and to learn about the expectations for the digital services and to increase the passenger experience on board. Because at some areas, the passengers maybe not looking for, let's say, really fast internet Wi-Fi connectivity on board because they would rather prefer to have a more clean trains. So that's always the measure to evaluate what is important for the customer. Second is important to know the limitations about the vehicles and the traveling corridors before planning the services for passengers in regards to the internet data speeds and the connectivity. Because, for example, in the deserts or the tunnels might not be the good signal coverage, internet service quality might not be at a good level. And the last advice would be to make the strategy with the digital services for the passenger offerings that covers not only the onboard part, but door-to-door mobility and the experience that fits to the local market demands and the demographic of the people that are using the train service.
Beautiful. Now, Jan, finally, what do you envision for the future of Passengera and the broader public transportation industry?
Yeah, so definitely what I do see is the autonomous public transport operation. As I mentioned, the example of our cooperation with Holland, it will not be only the autonomous people movers, but we already have autonomous metro operations like Riyadh Metro and many others that you might find on board. But we see also the first project with the working with autonomous trams for the cities. So definitely the autonomy will be there. Another will be the Starlink and the LEO satellite provider services, which will show the public transport industry in the coming years how these services can compete with the local mobile network operators. And that will be quite interesting to watch out because if you look for the number of the planned Starlink satellites to be running in the sky, then at one day might be the question, are the mobile operators on board really needed? recently we might be able to also make a calls from the satellites. We will see. Definitely something interesting to watch out. Then I think that the public transport operators will face the increased demands from the passengers in order to be their choice to use the public transport. And for us at Passengera, we will focus on adopting of AI technologies, as I mentioned already, to enhance the passenger experience. And we have a quite bright future with a lot of projects in the backlog. So we will see what the future will bring us.
Yeah, you do have bright future. It was so nice speaking to you. I learned a lot. I have two quick questions. I won't take a long time. What is edge computing technology? Is it transport specific or is it applicable to other industries as well?
Yeah, this is coming from the standard ICT industry, right? It's not something specific for the public transport. By the edge computing, it means that you provide some computing logic on board and not on the cloud, right? So this edge computing era or the trend came after the cloud era. Back then was built up. So there was a trend that everything will now work in the cloud. And then it was realized that at some cases, having everything be computed in the cloud is not the best case, especially in the cases where you do not have the reliable connection between the cloud and onboard or wayside or something. So by edge computing, it means that we use some logic and the computing on board and the results transferred to the cloud.
Beautiful. So, Jan, thanks for your time. It was amazing talking to you, and please keep doing the great job.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here and looking forward for having some next challenges.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I believe everyone listening to this podcast has got something to take away from today's discussion. If you like this podcast, please listen, follow, and share this podcast within your network. If you believe we should be sharing your story or someone within your network, there is a railway leader who should be here sharing his or her contribution to this industry. Contact me on railway transportation systems at gmail.com. Thank you for your time today. See you next fortnight. Until then, stay safe and take care of yourself.